We just got an important correction on the translations for JJK 258 regarding Sukuna's domain expansion. So let's talk about it, but spoilers beware. Alright, so just a really quick recap of the situation. In JJK 258, Sukuna cast his domain expansion, and the translation for it was really wonky because it simultaneously talks about an open domain and a closed domain in reference to Maki, who, as a heavenly restricted user with zero cursed energy, can't typically be caught in a closed domain. So, what the translations walked away with, both the official and the popular fan translations, was that Sukuna somehow simultaneously did an open domain whilst closing it, which is really confusing, right? But it's like, okay, it's Sukuna, right? He can do it. Well, Lightning just came through and said, in good faith, I needed to make an important correction to my initial translation, which also just clarifies the whole situation in general. And again, it wasn't just Lightning who got this mixed up. Every major translation messed this up somehow. So, Lightning breaks it down here. Essentially, the narration has two independent separate clauses. One being what Sukuna did, the open barrier domain, with no drop in output or range, that doesn't separate its barrier from real space, aka just his normal open domain that we've seen him do a million times at this point, right? And then the second statement, why a closed barrier domain wouldn't work against Maki. Lightning then goes over what people got mixed up about this, and y'all feel free to pause and read the whole thing if you want, but it's basically just breaking down why the official translation and the most popular fan translation were wrong, because they both assumed that this was an open domain that was simultaneously somehow closed. Finally, Lightning provides the correct and accurate translation of what was going on there, and it's just simply that Sukuna was doing an open domain. It has the increased range due to the binding vow providing an escape route, and there is no closed barrier whatsoever. So theoretically, our heroes could have attempted to try and just run out of range, but as we saw, they all cast the simple domain and tried to withstand it instead. So yeah, no barrier, just an open domain like we've seen him do in Shibuya and against Gojo. And the reason this was confusing is because the narrator was so wordy in trying to explain why he didn't do a closed domain, and it was simply because that wouldn't work on Maki. So I hope that clears things up. And again, as always, massive shout out to Lightning for having the community's best interest in heart here and providing us with this information. I'll see you guys in the next one.